You know, you click on them hundreds of times a day, probably without even thinking about it. But that humble blue underlined piece of text, the hyperlink, it's actually one of the most powerful and misunderstood features of our modern world. It is packed with hidden complexities, some surprising abilities, and yeah, some genuinely serious dangers. So today, let's pull it apart and see what makes it tick. And really, this is the perfect place to start. The Mozilla Developer Network just puts it so brilliantly. Hyperlinks aren't just on the web, they are the web. I mean, they are the literal threads that weave trillions of documents into this single connected tapestry of information. Seriously, without them, there's no web at all.
Okay, so if we're going to understand that tapestry, we've got to look at the threads themselves, right? At its very core, a link is just an address. It's a set of directions for your browser. But it's how we write those directions, well, that's where things get really interesting, and honestly, where it all tends to go wrong.
Which, of course, brings us to a frustration we have all felt, the dreaded 404 not found page. So you have to ask, if links are just these simple addresses, why is it so incredibly common for them to lead to a dead end? Well, it almost always comes down to this tiny but absolutely crucial difference in how we give directions online.
Okay, so look at this slide, because what's really fascinating here is the difference a single character makes. The link on the left, that's called a document relative path. It's like giving directions from exactly where you're standing right now. Go up 2 floors, then find the About office. The one on the right, the route relative path, is like giving directions from the building's main entrance, no matter where you currently are. So what's the big deal? Well, if you move the page that has that first kind of link, its starting point changes, and suddenly the directions are completely useless. The link instantly breaks. This is one of the most common reasons you see a 404 error. And using that route relative path, the one that starts from the main entrance, it just makes your link so much more resilient to change. Now, speaking of frustration, let's move from links that break to something that breaks the user experience just as badly. And that is the constant case of mistaken identity between links and buttons. I know they can be styled to look exactly the same, but functionally, they are worlds apart. And this brilliant line from the A11Y Collective is the golden rule. It's probably the single most important thing to remember about this whole topic. A link navigates you to a new place, a new URL. A button performs an action on the current page. It submits a form, it opens a menu, it plays a video. Simple as that. And this difference, it isn't just some technical detail for developers. No, it's fundamental to how people actually use the web. As you can see here, a keyboard user expects a link to work with the Enter key, but they expect a button to work with both Enter and the spacebar. A screen reader announces them completely differently, which sets these really vital expectations for users with visual impairments. Getting this wrong is not a small mistake. It absolutely breaks keyboard navigation, it violates core accessibility standards, and it creates this confusing and deeply frustrating experience for so many users. The function, what it does, that must always determine the tool you choose, not just what it looks like.
But okay, after all that talk about getting it wrong, let's look at what happens when you get it right. Because a correctly used hyperlink is so much more than just a simple doorway to another page. It has some fantastic built-in special moves. And this is the part that's so cool. A simple, single line of HTML can be incredibly powerful. A mail to link can pop open a pre-filled email. Adding hashtag page=4 to a PDF link can jump a user directly to the exact page they need in a huge document. And the download attribute, that tells the browser to just save a file instead of trying to open it. These are simple, elegant solutions that require zero complex code. But for all its simple power, the hyperlink has a dark side, a really deep-seated fragility that's leading to this massive, kind of invisible problem across the entire internet. You could call it an epidemic of broken links, a kind of digital decay. So I want you to take a long look at this number. A recent large-scale analysis scanned the homepages of the world's top 88,000 websites. Any guesses what this number represents? That is the percentage of the world's most popular websites that have at least one broken external link right on their homepage. Over a third of them. This whole phenomenon is called link rot, and it's a massive symptom of the web just quietly falling apart. And we're not just talking about a few dead ends here and there. This is a systemic decay of the web's connective tissue. That one study found over 1 million broken links. But as this analysis shows, the consequences are so much worse than just a bad user experience. So what's the real danger here? And this is where it gets really serious. A broken link is way more than an inconvenience. It's a security vulnerability. It's an unlocked door, just waiting for someone to walk right through it. I mean, think about it. When a link on a trusted website points to a domain that has expired, or maybe a resource that's been taken down, a malicious actor can just pounce. They can go register that expired domain or take over that abandoned resource for themselves. And then, in an instant, they can hijack all the traffic that was meant for the original trusted destination. And from there, they can inject malicious code, set up phishing pages to steal your data, or even establish surveillance operations, all by exploiting the trust we have in the site where that broken link started. So the crucial takeaway is this: the strength, the reliability, and the very safety of the web depend on these simple, powerful connections. A broken link isn't just a 404 error, it's a loose thread in the fabric of the internet. And maintaining the integrity of these threads, well, that's a responsibility for everyone who builds for the web. And the real question is, are we paying enough attention?